Ushatam amazizot betecha uvishar amazizot betecha uvisharecha leman tiskaru v'yasitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kadoshim lelohem ani na Elohem asher hotzi tietem Me'eretz Mitzrayim lihot lahem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
She was laughing for a minute because my wife decided to take a picture of her in the middle.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, give her some encouragement. It was much easier for her when she was 3 years old. She didn't think about it much. There, Harvey says, Mr. Horowitz says it's good. Okay. This is one of the most important quotes, especially during this time. The moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice.
Two, three, four. Ya la la.
Oh, one of Cantor's favorites, Yismachu.
Oh. The songs are going fast.
Mike's saying the songs are going fast. Oh, hang on. No. I think there's... Let's just go to the end. Zecher Lemase, that's it. Lemase Vareshi Shabbat. Give me guitar. Zecher. Oh, go to this.
You want to go here?
Yeah, go there.
Okay, 2, 3, 4.
Zecher Lemase, Lemase Vareshi Shabbat. Zecher Lemase, Lemase Vareshi Shabbat. מלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת, וקורא יומי
Those who keep the Sabbath call it a delight. I invite you now to stand or sit as is your custom as we look out at the ark at Shir Shalom lit for us. Take a couple of minutes for your own private prayers and reflections. If you need to stop your screen also to get some privacy, that would be okay as well. And we come back for our healing prayers. Boy, I wish we had weather like that with those sunflowers. It reminds me of the sunflowers on the way to Jerusalem, all those beautiful buds because of all the sunflower seeds they eat in Israel. Garenim, they call them. For our Misha Berach list, we're thinking about Lee Applebaum, Andrew Joseph Bernard, who is doing much better, we hear. Michael Berwick, Cantor Sharon Colbert, Arthur Dzecki, Sydney Ehrenreich, Gabe Verber, Sarah Halpern, Donna Heitner, Nancy Hersbrunn, Evan Kavanaugh, Charles Lemansky, Kathy Mass, McCoy family, Napolitani family, Richard Radis, David Sapphire, Martin and Barbara Scher, Diane Simons, Gail Willick Smith, Iris Weinstein, Talia Hadas Ben Rivka, Naomi Ben Batsedi, Yaakov Raphael, Hanan Ezra Ben Shuel, Avram Ben Moshe, Malka Bat Naftali, Kayla Bat Miriam, Lev Hirsch Ben Sadie, and David Ben Masha. Go around if you just want to unmute yourself to offer a name, please do so now.
Mindy Weinberg.
Roy
Sorry.
Post.
Mindy Weinberg.
Sharon Burstein Walker.
Rachel.
Roberta Friedman.
Howard Hilfstein, Nancy Logman, and Helene Goldfarb.
Judy Healy and Jack Firestein.
Ellen Temp.
We take all those names into our hearts as we pray for ourselves as well as those that we love and are connected to.
source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. משברה אמותינו בכל הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Complete healing of body and soul. Cantor's going to share a quote now and some pictures. This is a really heartbreaking story. A lot of you are familiar from the news. You see a family there. And we have Tommy Raskin, who passed away last week after battling long-term depression and lost his fight against it. His family knew he was strong and he tried his best, but it's a big loss. And you can see what a loving family and what an amazing person. He left the following note: please look after each other, the animals, the global poor, for me. All my love, Tommy. So I'm going to invite Cantor to end her screen share. I think anyone that heard that story about the Raskin family, about Tommy, their hearts were touched. It's just heartbreaking. I unfortunately have had to officiate a number of funerals for suicides, and it's one of the most heartbreaking things. We've done a lot better job at talking about it, and we know what type of battle it is with depression. It's not something that we can always overcome, and it doesn't mean weakness, it means struggle. And I think that's how Tommy's whole family looked at it. And I want to share that quote in the context of this Martin Luther King weekend, and in the context of everything going on in this country, to talk about how connected we are with one another, and how we never know how one action or one thing that we say reverberates through the years, maybe long after we're gone. And we never know the impact. So I take you back to Martin Luther King's death, I think in 1968. And it was a terrible time in the country. And there was a young Jewish guy, his name was Arthur Waskow. He was a writer, he was an activist. He was involved in a lot of different things. The one way that he would never identify himself was Jewish. And he walked around. He came from a deeply religious family, one that taught him a great deal of Jewish texts. And he was just walking around in despair after hearing the news of what happened. And he happened to walk by a tank at that time. And a soldier. And he realized that the stories that he had learned as a child about Egypt, that we are reading in the Torah right now about the Exodus, they're not as far removed from what was happening around him at the time. He felt very much like he was in the biblical story. He went right back home and he started writing. And he did something revolutionary. It might not seem revolutionary to us today, but it was revolutionary at the time. He rewrote the Passover Haggadah. The Haggadah is one of our oldest and longest traditions. A lot of you grew up maybe with the Maxwell Haggadah. And you certainly didn't at that time have quotes from lots of different people, including people that weren't Jewish. And he took all of his knowledge and he wrote them down and quoted from anyone that he found inspiring. And he put together what he called the Freedom Seder. I don't know, just looking around, if is anyone familiar? Raise your hand if you're familiar at all with the Freedom Seder. Has anyone heard of that? It's kind of an old tradition. It doesn't look like it's that familiar, but believe me, you have been impacted by that. Because it was then, I think in 1968, that the first Freedom Seder, it was in a church, and I think there was some 800 people there. And believe it or not, at 6 years old, one of the people at that early Freedom Seder was Jamie Raskin, Tommy Raskin's father. Because Jamie Raskin's father was a social activist and did a lot of work of healing at the time. And so naturally, he would find himself to a Freedom Seder. And actually, it's this picture that Jamie carries with him. He has it in his office in Congress now. And it's something that's a point that's led him in the way that he has. From Martin Luther King and his words to Arthur Waskow, to Jamie Raskin, to Tommy Raskin. And these words really, really reverberated all these years. It's not that there was any necessarily direct connection to Martin Luther King, but we are all so connected to one another. Arthur Waskow was one of the members of the community I lived in Philadelphia at Germantown Jewish Center. I used to see him all the time. Let me I have a article here describing about Tommy Raskin, because I want to share a little bit about his life and his legacy and the words that he left us to inspire us. And that certainly inspired his family, inspiring our country at this point. It said by the age of 25, that's how old he was, Thomas Bloom Raskin, this is from an NPR report, had already accomplished a great deal. He was a graduate of Amherst College who went to intern at the Cato Institute in J Street, among prominent organization, a passionate vegan who wrote philosophical defenses of animal rights and converted those around him to give up meat, a political writer who had essays published in The Nation and elsewhere, and a law student and teaching assistant at Harvard Law School, who donated from his teaching salary to charities in his students' names. He was someone who lived a full life, even though it was taken from him by his depression too soon. And of course, it was at this time in that same week of Shiva that the events of the Capitol happened. And that Jamie, who had been so inspired as a 6-year-old, as a young man, by Arthur Waskow, by Martin Luther King, he was thrust in a completely different way of protecting America. And he's now part of the effort in Congress to heal from this difficult time. But he was there in that moment, in the week of Shiva. And we Jews, we understand how difficult, how impossibly difficult. But when you hear his words, you could see that instead of feeling downtrodden by the loss of his son, no doubt it was something that will stay with him his whole life. He also felt so inspired by the gift that his son gave to him. This gift to remember what is important, to fight for one another, to fight for the animals in the world, to fight for a better world. And as we think about our moment here on Zoom, on our time on Shabbat, it's easy to lose hope. It's easy to lose hope this Shabbat, this Martin Luther King Shabbat, with the tumult going on in our world during this pandemic of 10 months. It's easy to forget the beauty that we have out there and the possibility. And I hope that we are also inspired by Tommy to do what is necessary. Maybe he wasn't able to do it fully and maybe to continue his life, but we have an obligation to do it for him. May we carry his memory into Martin Luther King weekend, into this tumultuous time, and may we love and care for one another, be gentle with each other, and know that if we really hold each other in our hearts and put away hate, as Martin Luther King said, focus on love. We will make this world better, slowly but surely, in ways we cannot even imagine right now. May his memory always, always be for a blessing. And thank you all for being with us tonight. It's such a sad and tragic story. It brings so many tears to my eyes just thinking about it. We're going to move to the end of the service now with our concluding prayers. This beautiful smile. When our days become dreary with low hovering clouds of despair, when our nights become darker than 1,000 midnights, let us remember that there is a creative force in this universe working to pull down the gigantic mountains of evil, a power that is able to make way out of a way out of no way and transform dark yesterdays and bright tomorrows. Thank you, Cantor. And we're going to rise for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, לא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וקורבננו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני המלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. We say Tommy Raskin. I'm going to read the list of others that we're thinking about. First, from this past week, Jean Hubush, who's the mother of Barbara Rubin. I talked to Barbara. Her mom died on her birthday, on Barbara's birthday. So we send lots of love. She was 95 years old, I believe. And Barbara told me she was someone who was strong and gritty, but had a heart of gold. And so we hope that Jean's memory will always be for a blessing. And we're also thinking about Paula Ann Witherell. This is someone over at Damon College. I was part of a memorial service for her this week. She was only in her 50s. We're remembering from Shloshim List, Bruce Baum, Bernie Engel, Rosalind Foss Gerard, Eileen Haber, Verna Koren, Estelle Leonard, Henry Mann, Natalie Miller, Jillian Pearson, Ellen Pine, and Helene Smolin. Oh, what an impossibly long list. Yard site from years past, and I know there's many people here observing yard site. We're glad that you're here with us, and we hope that this time gives you comfort. Edwin Ackerholt, Elaine Adler, Robert L. Altman, Edward Ballin, Eva Bronstein, Joel L. Cohen, Evelyn Cowan, Isabel Diaz, Norman Fertig, Alan Freudenheim, Fanny Waldinger Frey, Betty Friedan, Sylvia Gaynor, Joseph Goldman, Frank Hartney, Bernard Kaufman, Elliot Krieger, Nancy Kreef, Goldie Crone, Muriel E. Lifton, Isidore Longberg, Sarah Longberg, Abe L. Marquesi, Jenny Martz, Sharon B. Maybach, Ruth S. Miller, Sherwin Bud Miller, Clara Schaefer, Gertrude Scholl, Ruth Israel Schuller, Clara Schwartz, Gershon Schick, Betty Trusty, Leo Ullman, Herbert Weinman, Emmanuel Weiser, and Ruth Weiss. If you have other names you want to offer, just unmute yourself and let us know.
Lee Frost.
I invite everyone to rise, whose custom it is to rise for the mourner's Kaddish. Yid Kadal, Yid Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, Yalma, Tibrach, Erte, Yamlik Malkute, B'chayechon, V'yamachon, B'chayedachol Beit Yisrael, Bagalau, Vizman, Kari, V'yimru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah, V'varach, Leolam, Omei, Omaya. Yitbarak, V'yishtabak, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei Dekudashah, B'richu. Le'elam in kol berchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, damiran v'alma v'yamru, amen. Yehi shlomo rav amin shemaya, chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru, amen. Oseh shalom v'ramav, kuya seh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yamru, amen. You may be seated. May God grant them peace and our world peace. And we say amen. Zikronam Livracha. And I'm going to invite Cantor to take down our screen share. We'll turn it over to Bruce Chorus to offer our announcement.
Oh, Ravens versus Bills. That's part of the announcements. Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. Thank you to Rabbi Alex, Cantor Frank, Mike Frank for a lovely service tonight in honor of Shabbat and as we remember Martin Luther King Jr. I know some of you have heard me tell this story before, but back in my TV days when I was responsible for producing Black History Month, yes, I had to do Black History Month, go figure. I also had to produce the Pope's visit. So that's TV news in a nutshell. But anyway, I was responsible for Black History Month. And one of the best stories we ever did, I was so proud of, is we found an elderly woman who had been with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in his 1958 visit to Buffalo at a church over on the east side, and a prominent Buffalo politician, George Arthur, who had accompanied him on his 1967 visit. And we lost George Arthur a couple of weeks ago. He died, I think it was Christmas Day, as a matter of fact. Very, very prominent member of the Buffalo politics and a pioneer, really, as far as African-American politicians go in Buffalo. So as we remember Martin Luther King, we think of his local connection as well. As you know, we have our service leaflets available to you. If you want to use them to follow along during the service for the Yortzeit list and things like that, all you have to do is go to the website, click here to watch our services. And if you go down to the Erev Shabbat service link, you'll find the leaflet for that night. So any Friday night, you can have that if you want it. No one is wearing Shir Shalom gear tonight because we haven't been able to order them yet, but you still have time. If you want to order your CSS Shir Shalom strong gear, masks, t-shirts, sweatshirts, you still have time. The deadline is this weekend. There's great stuff there. Thank you to Sheila Bernard Tucker for coming up with the idea. You can order through this weekend, so be sure to do that. Tomorrow morning, we have Torah study at 9 a.m., Shabbat morning service, and virtual Kiddush luncheon at 11. They're both on Zoom. Website has the links. There's no religious school Sunday. Sunday night, however, Dr. Yunina Foster will be here for Shalom Ruach, Peaceful Spirit. There will be song, chant, silence, and sharing. That is 7:00 p.m. That is also on Zoom. Chai Club is here. Drawings are on Wednesdays. Send your money and ticket stubs to the temple office so you can be part of the fun. Next Thursday, we will have Buffalo Corner Reading Series. That will be at 7:00 p.m. That will be on Zoom. Next Friday, candle lighting is at 6:45. Erev Shabbat is at 7. Oneg Shabbat is at 8. Everything is on Zoom. Again, we're going to be Zooming everywhere that night. And Friday night, and the service, the 7:00 service, which you do need to register for, by the way, we have a guest speaker, Max Donatelli, and he will speak about coping during COVID. So that should be quite interesting. We are in the middle of our Purim Spiel rehearsals. We could still use a few more bodies with voices to take part. I announced this last Friday night, and a couple of people that were attending signed up. We could still use a few more spielers. As I've mentioned before, the part of Julia Cohan has to be played by Julia Cohan because we're short-staffed. So if we can find someone to fix that for us, that would be quite helpful. If you'd like to, yes, Julia.
I'm not playing myself anymore. My part was written out.
Oh man, why? Because it was a tough part. Anyway, if you would like to help, it's fun. It really is. And we're doing it on Zoom, just like this. It's going to be live on Zoom, and it's going to be messy and confusing, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you'd like to learn more, contact me or the rabbi, and we'll get your contact information over to the director/producer/head honcho of this year's Purim Spiel. If you need anything at all, please feel free to reach out to Joanne, myself, the rabbi, or the cantor. We are here for you. Have a wonderful Shabbat. Join us for the Oneg Shabbat following. That link is on our website. And as I say every week, thank you so much for being part of our Shir Shalom family. When we have tumultuous weeks like this in our country, it's nice to be together with each other on Friday night, and we get comfort and we get joy from each other. So Shabbat Shalom.
Noam decided to bring his tie now.
And go Bills, go Bills, go Bills.
Look what it is. Do you see? All right.
There's hope. The Bills are in the playoffs. They won last week. We have hope.
We can't pray against another team, but we can say, may the Bills do the best they can. And let's take a deep breath. Buffalo, they're a really good team. So I think we have a great chance tomorrow. I mean, the Bills are a really great team. All right. Cantor has a song dedicated to Martin Luther King weekend.
I'm back. Each one of these lines, I got peace like a river. I got love like an ocean, and I've got joy like a fountain. Each one is a separate stanza. So I got peace like a river. You go down to in my soul. Okay, and then we sing that all the way through. Then we go to the next verse. I got love like an ocean in my soul. Sing it all the way through. Then I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. Okay? And I hope you will sing along. I got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. Sing with me. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I got peace like a river in my soul. I got love like an ocean. Here we go. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love. Go to I've got joy like a fountain. Sing with me. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy. To the top. I've got peace like
Beautiful. Thank you, Cantor. And we're ready for Challah. I'm going to turn it over to Joanne Marcusy, our executive director, to offer the Hamotzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lachem min haaretz. Amen.
Te'avon, everyone can unmute. As we came in peace, may you leave in peace. Everyone offer their Shabbat greetings.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Have a good week.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Have a good week.
Shabbat shalom. Hi, Mrs. Cole.
Shabbat shalom.
Josh's Jags. Josh's Jags.
Shabbat shalom.
Go Bills.
Miles next to
Go
Jen.
Bills.
There's Maya.
Shalom, Miles.
Birthday.
Hello, Miles.
What are you going to do with that?
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Joanne, don't faint, but this one's strong.
I think she's going to hear her.
Shabbat shalom.
Get Miles next to Jenny. That would be great.
Shabbat shalom.
See you guys at the Onig.
Bye.
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 Have a good week.